Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy. Welcome back to another video. So today, I'm going to go ahead and talk about something that I don't typically talk about on this channel. So obviously, my name of my channel is Snacks and Cinema. I talk about snackies, I talk about random food things, I talk about movies, and I talk about Marvel a lot. I've made a lot of Marvel videos recently. I've made a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy videos recently. I'm about to make more Guardians of the Galaxy videos. But today, I kind of want to make a video talking about DC for a change. Um, for the first time in years, I think that the future of DC is looking much brighter than the future of Marvel. And part of the reasons I say this is because, one, Marvel is having an ungodly amount of delays, which, yeah, DC probably could be too, but we're not seeing it as openly as we're seeing the Marvel stuff. And then there's also stuff with Jonathan Majors. I'm not going to get into that because that's kind of like way above my head. I'm not going to talk about anything that's going on with that until there's a thing and he's guilty or he's innocent. I don't want to discuss it, right? But the stuff that I do want to talk about is DC related and how DC can finally beat Marvel and kind of beat Marvel at their own game as well. So after Avengers Endgame, a lot of people were like kind of torn. What is Marvel going to be going forward? What is Marvel looking like? And Kevin Feige came out strong. He was like, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. Here's what's going on. And he kind of started pitching that Marvel was going to start making different kinds of movies and different genres for different people. And that sounded great. As a comic book fan, you know, not all comic books are for everybody, right? Like, there are certain comic runs that are better for people who are wanting a deep, dark story that's depressing and grim or whatever. And then there's good comics for people who are just looking for a lighthearted, funny movie or whatever, right? And then there's also comic books for people who prefer like dramas and stuff like that. There are so many different genres within comic books, and for the most part, Marvel movies have been one dimensional. They've all been action, funny. That's it, right? There's comedy and action in it. But Kevin Feige announced we're going to start making different things in different genres. And you know what they did not do? Start making different things in different genres. When they announced Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, they announced that it was going to be a horror movie. Did you watch it? Was it horrifying? Absolutely not. There was nothing about it that had horror vibes to it. Sam Raimi becoming the director for it was a really good sign, but they didn't make it horrifying. They didn't make it dark. They didn't do anything to really make it anything other than just a Marvel movie. And that's part of my problems that I have with Marvel movies is they're all very one-dimensional. James Gunn just put out Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which is a beautiful space opera. Very different from just random action and funny movies like the rest of them. And with James Gunn going away, and he's going to be the head of DC, DC has a chance to really beat Marvel at something Marvel promised us, which is making movies for different genres for different people, right? Variety, right? And if you watch James Gunn's DC Slate announcement that came out in January, he announced a lot of different things, and he announced that a big thing is they're going to be doing animated stuff with the same voice actor playing them in live action when they do crossovers and stuff like that. And he mentioned that movies, animated stuff, TV shows, and games could all potentially connect in some future events, which is so cool. And it would be such a great thing to experience. And something that I really think that they should try to capitalize on is a character who I feel like has been really underutilized despite being there since the very beginning. He's been in a lot of different movies, he's been in multiple shows, but still to this day, the common audience doesn't really know his origin story. And I feel like it would be really interesting and it could work really well. So here is my pitch that I am giving you. In the future, I'm going to make more videos like this where I'm kind of pitching stuff like this, but those are going to be much more in depth. This one, I don't know as much about the character, and I did a little bit of research, but I wasn't going to go dive deep into this. So this one's not going to be as fleshed out as it could be, but I want to talk about why I think that this opportunity would work really well. So I am saying that this character Cyborg in DC should have his own TV show. Why do I think that this works? One, have you seen how successful All American is? I'm thinking you should make a movie about Cyborg or a show about Cyborg, and the first half of it should be showing the human side of him, and the second half of him show him being the cyborg and dealing with the fact that he's kind of a monster in his own sense. And for those of you guys who do not know, the title of the current chapter of the DCU that James Gunn is going to be starting with is called Gods and Monsters. And something that I like about this is this could do something that Marvel has never really done well, which is having a movie or a TV show without a defined villain. I'm thinking you should make a one series show for Cyborg, and maybe you can make multiple seasons after the first season, but I have an idea for what the first season should be. So the first season should be about 12 episodes long, right? You don't want to make it too long, but you don't want to do the short 6 episode things because those really aren't working, right? But make it like All American, right? Something that is really cool with comic book and superhero movies is when you can relate to the characters, right? And I feel like most people have been in a state where they've been an athlete, right? And they've been trying their best to, lead their team, and they've done like some cool things, like they've scored a touchdown, they've kicked a goal, they've shot a free throw, whatever, and just has felt on top of the world. And I feel like showing a superhero who is an athlete, a student athlete, and showing kind of the struggles that he has with that could be a great introduction to a character who can become relatable, but can also then shoot laser beams out of his chest and stuff like that. I feel like starting with the human side of Cyborg would be really interesting and really cool. And in most TV shows and movies that he is ever in, we're introduced to him already as the Cyborg, which is fine, right? I think it works, but I think that it would be really interesting to make a all-American type show where show that he's a senior in high school. He's getting, what's it called? He's getting college scholarship opportunities. He's dealing with drama. He has certain tests and exams and stuff he needs to work on. He needs to balance his work, life, school schedule. Stuff that people who are younger, who are fans of superhero movies, can relate to, right? And then on top of that, build up like him having a relationship, build up him being like the really nice guy in school, because that's something that I really like about his character that's not really shown enough, is he does really small things at school to help out people who are in need. In the Justice League Snyderverse, they had an example of this. He hacked grades so that a girl could get better grades because the school system wasn't really helping her out. And I love that. Do stuff like that with this character. You can do some very simple things. Maybe have like him do something that's borderline illegal or could straight up be illegal, but for the sake of good, have him potentially get arrested or something. That's probably not a great idea. But you get what I'm saying. Have him deal with issues that young, dumb people will have and make him feel very human, right? And then leading up to like some big thing, like maybe his final game or something, or maybe, something very important is going to be coming up, have his accident happen, right? And then from there, you can start introducing characters who we know, like his father, who turns him into the Cyborg. And that's something that I also think would be really interesting with the show potentially, is having the first couple of episodes not have his father present. And don't make it like a big deal that his father isn't present, but show the fact that his father kind of neglects him in a sense, because that's something that I think is really important towards his character, is the fact that he has a father who loves him, but his father's never really there for him until he's going to die, right? And I feel like that's a really important part of his character, so that's something that should be shown off as well. And then I think that the overall conflict that you can have with this show, instead of having him fight some bad guy who is one-dimensional and not very interesting, have him fight his internal demons, right? He becomes a cyborg, he needs to learn how to control himself, and it's not going to work very well. It's not going to be easy, he's going to have a lot of issues, and I feel like that could be a very compelling story. Whereas Marvel sometimes will be like, oh, here's this really interesting character, he has this cool backstory, and now he's going to fight this random CGI thing for the last 30 minutes of the movie or whatever. And it's like, it's not working anymore. And so I'm hoping that with DC coming in, and here's my big thing about DC versus Marvel right now, right? A lot of people are thinking DC versus Marvel, who's going to win? That's not what it's really about. DC versus Marvel, the fans are going to win. Because if DC starts putting out great content, Marvel's going to have to start putting out good content to compete with them. And you know who's going to benefit from it? Us fans of superhero comic book movies, right? Because Marvel pushing DC to be better and DC pushing Marvel to be better is what it's all about, right? Like, we're going to have great stories, we're going to have great movies, we're going to have great TV shows, and right now it seems like superhero movies are going to die. But if 3 or 4 years from now, James Gunn puts out a couple really good DC movies, and Marvel responds by putting out some really good Marvel movies, there's a chance that we could save this stuff. And I really don't want to lose the superhero genre. I think it's really cool. I really like it. And I know it's kind of like how back in the day they had Westerns, and that was all they ever did. I'm totally fine with superhero movies dying in the future, right? But right now, there's so much good content that they could be making. There's a lot of really good source material that they can be making, and I feel like it's one of the more original things that are out there. Despite it being like, oh my god, there's another Marvel movie, there's another Marvel movie, there's another Marvel movie. Each character has its own unique backstories, its own unique power sets. A lot of times characters need to use different power sets to defeat different foes, and it has potential to be incredibly diverse with every single movie that's coming out. And right now, they're just not doing it. They're not utilizing it. But yeah, so that was my little pitch. I know that there was a lot of randomness thrown in there as well. I'm going to be honest, I didn't have a lot of time to flesh out this video or make it as good as I wanted to. But the future videos that I'm making that are similar to this, I have an Aquaman 3 pitch, which I know some of you guys are probably like, what? Oh, wait, I said Aquaman 3. I meant Aquaman 2. I have an Aquaman 2 pitch, and I know you guys are probably thinking, that's already out. Yeah, well, not already out. It's already being made or whatever. Yes, I think they should redo it. And I think that they should make it a last hurrah for the DCU that we currently know and love, the Snyderverse or whatever. But yeah, I have that in the works. That's very thought out. That's probably going to be a 35-minute long video, and I'm going to have specific scenes where I have dialogue and stuff written for it as well. But yeah, so that's it for this video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys, hopefully, in the next one. I love and appreciate you guys so much. Peace out. Bow. Bow, bow.